Hey there, YouTubers. This is Blue Eyes White Guy from teamr&b bringing you a first ever beating the meta. In this episode of beating the meta, I will be giving you guys the rundown on elemental dragons, what they do, what they don't do, and how you can stop them in their tracks. All right. Without further ado. This is something kind of similar to what you'll be seeing in what I feel is the harder to deal with version of Elemental Dragons, because it's a Light and Darkness Dragon build. I feel like they're really fragile if they don't have a Light and Darkness Dragon. So I think eventually in our metagame we'll be seeing a lot of different variants at first, but then we'll see someone get farthest in a tournament with a Light and Darkness Dragon build, and then that'll kind of become the norm. It's kind of what happened with Fire Fist at first. There was the Mono Fire Fist and then the Rabbit Fire Fist. And the Rabbit Fire Fist kind of outperformed the non-Rabbit Fire Fist in the beginning. And then the Mono Fire Fist without Rabbit kind of slowly got weeded out. I feel like that's what's going to happen with this deck, is eventually we're just going to see a bunch of Light and Darkness Dragon, because here in America we have a net decking meta where one deck does really good and then everyone copies it. Alright, they'll be running some sort of a hand trap like Battle Fader Max C, just to prevent you from OTKing them. Max C is really tech against the mirror match. You'll be seeing triples of all the big dragons and then doubles of all the babies. Some people only play one lightning, but that's really irrelevant. What they do is they can discard some of the dragons, special summon the dragons from the deck, and then banish some of the dragons from the graveyard and re-special summon them. One thing to keep in mind when you're playing them, they can use each effect of each dragon only once per turn. So if they use Blaster to discard itself and a Burner to destroy a card on the field, they cannot banish 2 cards from the graveyard to special summon Blaster. They'll be using cards like Gold Sarcophagus to banish one of their dragons straight from their deck to search something. Super Rejuvenation. They'll be discarding and tributing a lot of dragons, so that will allow them to draw a lot in the end phase. So basically they're banishing a lot, searching, discarding, and specialing out this guy, Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac. This is where the problems start to happen for the deck. When he is special summoned, nothing really happens, but he can detach a material to special summon 2 tokens, and it cannot be destroyed while there are tokens on the field. So Mirror Force kind of fails against this card. What you're going to have to do with this deck is, also the tokens can be attributed to special summon a Light and Darkness deck. That's where all of our problems come from. That's where you scoop. They're going to special summon Dracosac. What you're going to have to do to beat this deck is wait for them to use all their resources. They bring out the Dracosac. You get rid of it right away. There's no way you can let this thing stay on the field and start to plus and then you beat them. You have to stop this as soon as possible, as soon as it hits the field, if they get that far. Okay, so for some of the things that you can use against it, there's these continuous traps, Imperial Iron Wall, Macrocosmos, and Gozen Match. All 3 of them disrupt the deck, all 3 of them in different ways. Gozen Match doesn't let them get 2 different attributes of elemental dragons on the field at the same time. And it's pretty near impossible for them to get 2 of the same attribute when onto the field. So it will prevent them from getting all the necessary pieces to get the Dracosac out. Also, unless they get 2 Tempests out, they can't go into Dracosac. Macrocosmos, I know, they search when they're banished, but this will make them run out of all of their resources super fast. They have enough to go maybe a couple Dracosacs, and if you can deal with 2 of those, they will not have their recurring effects. They cannot banish from the graveyard to special summon themselves anymore. That's probably the more broken of their effects. So really the only way they can get the dragons out when you have macro out is the babies, and they'll run out of them really fast if you're running macro. Imperial Iron Wall doesn't let them banish anything at all, which means no searches. That means Gold Sark is irrelevant, and all of the effects to banish from the graveyard, special and search and all that. Imperial Iron Wall will slow them down incredibly. It'll make it so that they really cannot get anything out. So all three of these are good. But one thing that you have to keep in mind is they're very hard to main deck because of bad matchups against other decks. They'll be dead. So if the Elemental Dragon player is smart, they'll know that people are really scared of this deck, siding really hard against it. So the Elemental Dragon player will probably side in MSTs, Heavy Storm, and possibly Dust Tornadoes on top of that. So these cards might not stick around that long. So some of the stuff that you can main deck against it that's more viable against other decks are Compulsory Evacuation Device and Bottomless Chapel. Basically any other card that will deal with Dracosac the moment it hits the field. Compulse probably... I really like maining this card to this format. It's a really Exceed heavy format. Dracosac, once it gets the tokens out, Compulse can still deal with it, even though it can't be destroyed. Another card that you can run is Dimensional Prison, but Dimensional Prison's a little too slow, and it'll allow them to get their Light and Darkness Dragon out. Bottomless Trap Hole also deals with Dracosac the moment it hits the field. So I would main two of these, maybe side an extra one against E-Dragons. Just don't let them get their Dracosac on the field and keep it there. This deck special summons so much, so Max C is very, very good against this deck. It'll let you draw immensely if they don't choose to stop, and if they choose to stop, then that gives you a turn to set up and really just kill them. Droll Mockbird, they like to search a lot, and they also get their Super Rejuvenation. This is a way to stop them from getting a crazy amount of first turn pluses against you. One of the things that they like to do is they like to discard about 4 cards using 2 of the baby dragons. Baby dragon will discard itself in another dragon, and then this one will discard itself in another dragon. They have 2 elemental dragons on the field. They either tribute those dragons for a lad, or they can go Dracosac lad. Then they drop the rejuvenations. Droll Lockbird, it'll stop their searches, and it'll stop the end phase super rejuvenation. It's really good for making them wait another turn and giving you another chance to OTK this deck before it OTKs you. Gores and Triforceratops are 2 good cards where if they're going to OTK you, you can stop that OTK. And I really like this card only against the Light and Darkness Dragon build because you can use its effect. Konami designed this card to deal with the Light and Darkness Dragon problem. I would take Konami's gift to you, side deck 2 or 3 of these in if they're playing the Light and Darkness Dragon build, and just say, well, you got a Light and Darkness Dragon out this turn. Let me use up all of your negates right now. Use this card. After they special summon 3 more times, then you can keep trying and keep trying to use its effect until you can finally special summon it. And they won't be able to OTK you, and their Light and Darkness Dragon will have used up all of its negates. The last 2 cards that I'm going to be showing you against this deck, there are 2 cards that you can normal summon against them. Fossil Dyna, their only outs to it are Blaster using its own effect, and then Stream has 1600 attack and Rectan has 1800 attack. So both of those can attack over the Fossil Dyna, but it's easy enough to protect it if you're running a back row heavy deck. And then Kaiko, this card is really good because of the effect that everyone forgets about. Your opponent cannot banish cards from either player's graveyard. So they cannot use their... It's basically an Imperial Iron Wall on legs. Alright guys, this has been the first segment of Beating the Meta. Hope you guys found it helpful and some insight on what Elemental Dragons can do and how to beat them. Alright, that's it. Blue Eyes White Guy, signing out.